Okay.
Oh, got the recording started.
First off, I didn't have anyone who indicated that they would be willing to take notes today as we get started. Is there anyone online who is willing to take notes if you want notes of this meeting? And chat acts differently, so I don't, not seeing anything in the chat yet.
I'll let you know if we do have somebody that volunteers in the meantime.
Okay. Well, I haven't heard anyone. Chat's finally popped up. I don't know if anyone is interested, but let's go ahead and get moving. Hopefully this isn't any indication of how the meeting will go the rest of the day. So welcome to our August 27th chapter Presidents and Advisors, our monthly meeting. We have a little bit of a lengthy agenda for you today. Of course, there's a lot of annual meeting stuff going on right now. I don't know if have you advanced to the next slide?
Yes.
There.
You may
it's a little
bit
of a lag.
Off, Michelle. Your internet seems to not be.
It's bad, right?
Yeah. Yes,
okay. So, and I think there's a lag in the slides too. But today's just to give you an update on the rest of our president's meetings for the rest of the year. We have, of course, today's September 24th. We'll have our next president's meeting. October will be the president's meeting that takes place at our annual meeting. And we'll give you a little bit more information about that event coming up later on in the meeting today. And then November and December are joint meetings, joint presidents and presidents and advisors meetings with our TMN Tuesday. So those are shifted a little bit in those months due to the holidays and both the holidays in that month. So each of those months. To kick off our agenda today, we have our 2024, some items in our 2024 planning.
I'll take it over from here. So first of all, we have some chapter templates and resources that we are in the process of developing. We kind of tested it out with the Canva template that we sent out for National Volunteer Month, and that seemed to go over pretty well overall. So we're working on making other things for y'all to use for your chapters. And this webpage is in the final stages of being formed. It will be password protected on our website, so you'll be getting an email from me once it's live, what the password is and all the information you need to know for that. But it will be a place where we're going to house Canva templates that I have developed for your chapter to use that you will then be able to edit and print on the chapter level. Also some other resources that we have developed, such as a QR code to your chapter website that you can place on flyers and wrap cards and things of that nature. And so this is coming out soon. I know I have gotten a couple of emails throughout the couple of months since we first mentioned that this was coming. Hey, is it ready yet? Hey, is it ready yet? It's almost ready now. So just keep your eyes peeled for that email coming out.
And Hannah, correct me if I'm wrong, this will be responsive as well. So there will be an opportunity for folks to request additional templates in the future.
Yes, this will be ongoing editing, ongoing creating new things that y'all might want. So if you have any requests that aren't on there yet, go ahead and you can shoot me an email saying, hey, we could really use a flyer template. Hey, we could really use a template for this. And I can get started on making something like that. But we're going to go ahead and launch it with what we do have on there so that the resources that are developed can get into your hands. But we will be updating it as we keep creating more things. Yes. And just a reminder for the logo that for using either your chapter mark or the program logo on any flyers, merchandise, anything of that nature, it must be approved by our state office. And right now that's sending emails to me with the draft flyer or the mock-up of the shirt, bag, whatever it is. And just so we can make sure that it follows our brand guidelines. because it is very important, especially as we are across the whole state, to have a cohesive brand so that someone who saw our little dragonfly logo in East Texas, they then travel up to the Panhandle, they see that dragonfly logo, they know exactly what they're looking at and who they might be talking to. So it is very important that we maintain the integrity and recognition of our brand by being consistent across the state and across all chapters. And so that leads into the reminder that chapter logos in the term logos are prohibited, but chapter marks are allowed. And we have that picture on the bottom of what the approved chapter marks are. If you need any help creating one, or say you have one that has the old dragonfly and you need to update to the new dragonfly, just email me and I can get those created for you as well. But this is just a reminder that our brand integrity is very important, especially as we are a very diverse state, have very diverse chapters. It's important that we're all under that one logo. For the training class survey, once again, thank you for completing it. The results will be presented at the annual meeting, so if you want to tune in for that session, then you can sign up for that. We also will be promoting the results in a remote format, but that date and format is to be determined at this time. And for the speaker master list survey, also thank you for getting those in. If you need help, finding someone to speak on a certain topic, feel free to send me an email and I will look through the list that we have collected and give you some suggestions. Also, if you have a couple more that you'd like to add to the list, just as a resource for everyone, feel free to still email those to me and I'll just kind of update as they come in. Still have our 2024 new training class info page live on the website. If you want to go ahead and add your fall training class to that list, you may. That is still open, still available to do, and people are still going to it. But we also, if you want to change the slide, have added a 2025 new training class page. So you'll see down at the bottom, it is now on the home page. So it's a quick, easy way to get to it. So if you want to go ahead and start adding in your 2025, maybe applications open in December or January training classes, you can go ahead and do that as well. And we'll be updating those as they come in. And this is just the same map with the list of everyone who has a fall training class that either is about to start, has just started. I think they're all kind of in that range of either they have just started this month or about to start at the end of this month or beginning of the next month. I think I saw someone in the chat say it's starting tonight. So that's our list that we have on that 2024 webpage. And also you can see we've got one on the 2025 page already.
Busy, busy fall.
Busy, busy fall, yes.
Speaking of busy fall, we are still working on our curriculum update as we announced this project in the spring of this year. This is a multi-year project. We're going to keep this slide on the screen to share any updates. At this time, we're doing all the behind-the-scenes work. The first step of the curriculum update project is kind of behind us as we collected some user feedback in that original spring survey. Now we're still collecting errors. We're working with each unit author to work through the second edition review and update of the material. We will provide updates as we get closer to spring and summer of 25. But this is where we are right now. A lot of behind the scenes work is going on with our curriculum. That error link survey, that error and update survey monkey is still available. It is posted on our website as well. So as you're flipping through your new training class curriculum and you're going through the book this fall and you find a misspelling, an error, an update that needs to happen, please make note of that and share it with us so that we can make sure that we catch that in our review and update of this curriculum. And Michelle, you had some updates with this page, correct?
Okay. So fall pins ordering, just a reminder that all of your chapters are going to have some big events coming up this fall. Remember the ordering process, the new ordering process that we started earlier this year through the AgriLife Learn site for any of your certificates, like the certification certificates through the 2,500 hour pins, and then the Friends pin, the current year recertification pin. All of those are available through the AgriLife Learn ordering process. And most chapters know that you have all of your chapter appreciation events coming up typically at the end of the year. So just a reminder that those are there, and that's where you order those. I have an update on the 4,000 hour pins. And so 4,000 through 10,000 hours and up would be ordered through me, my office, but still through the process, the link on the website. So all orders would go there. I fill those monthly. However, the Presidential Volunteer Service Awards, the 4,000 hour award, has been on back order for quite several months at the in Washington, D.C. And so those recently just came back in stock. And I did complete the order for everybody that was on the list up through August 15th. And so those should be coming in here shortly. And I will cross-reference the list of people that haven't received those yet with people who are attending the annual meeting. And we will give those awards out at the annual meeting. During the awards banquet. Others will send with your chapter or send to your chapter. So just to update that the PVSA pins are back in stock and orderable now. So if you have orders that you've been holding, please just add them to the 4,000 hour that order process on the website.
I'm going to go backwards just a quick moment. We did have a question in chat that I think that is easier answered verbally about the curriculum. Wanda asked from the East Texas chapter what our target year is for the new edition. And we don't have a strict timeline for that at this point, but we will have a timeline 6 months out. So once we're within that 6-month window of having a new curriculum edition ready, then we'll be able to give you additional input and updates. So we're still in the back end of the system. We're working to be transparent and communicative with you guys as chapter leaders to let you know that this is in the process, but we don't have a timeline for a new edition. Please don't update your ordering process for your spring 2024 training class as we're not close. We're not to that point yet. We will let you know when we are close and we need to start thinking about that transition period. So we're not there yet. Great question, though. And then a screenshot of the pin page that Michelle just referenced.
Yep. And then Hannah has dropped the links in the chat too, so they're there. We have our upcoming TMN Tuesdays. So September 10th is coming up soon. And here's a list of things we have coming up in the next couple months. So August 13th is the recording is on the website now. September 10th, we have the Spanish for Naturalists that is coming up next month in actually a couple weeks. And then October 8th will be our Texas Master Naturalist Project Fair competition. And then again, November and December are joint TMN Tuesdays with presidents and advisors meetings. And so we're always collecting topics of interest for you, and especially in the upcoming new year, we'll begin planning that shortly. And so if there are any items you'd like to see or any topics you'd like to see in the new year, let us know. As I mentioned, September 10th, we have our Spanish for Naturalists or with Ernesto and Wendy, who will be presenting that. They are also holding a Spanish for Naturalists training at the Master Naturalist annual meeting too. And then Wendy is also planning on doing some impromptu Spanish speakers meetups. So look for those announcements in the meeting app if you're attending the annual meeting.
And then building off of what Michelle also mentioned, that we're always seeking feedback on new topics. This is an example of that. Wendy and Ernesto gave a presentation at last year's conference to rave reviews, and it was an obvious pick for us to bring to a larger stage at the TMN Tuesday platform. And so there's sessions that you're planning to attend and you do attend at the conference this year and you think need that larger statewide audience through a TMN Tuesday, jot those down in your memory and share those with us after the conference and after we've rested from it.
Okay, in October is our TMN Tuesday for October is our exemplary project fair presentations. We're currently holding a time block, a very large time block for that day, until we know exactly how many presentations are submitted for this contest and award. And as we do have more presentations or chapters who submit entries for this contest, I'm suspecting that window of presentation would narrow much more. And so I'm expecting it to be closer to the regularly scheduled TMN Tuesday time as much as possible. Those chapters who do present at this TMN Tuesday or the Exemplary Project Fair, they will have a 20-minute presentation, and that includes 5 minutes of Q&A about their project. And the submission deadline for this contest is September 15th. And your odds are, if you're a chapter who's considering submitting a contest entry for this, your odds are really good right now because there hasn't been any entries so far. So we'd love to see yours added. Okay, few reminders to our membership. So we've talked about this a couple of times in the past several months. And fall is a great time to reiterate this again because we are getting a bunch of new master naturalists through all of the training sessions and training classes. Just a reminder, and if you could help communicate this to your membership and especially to your new master naturalists coming in through training, the Texas Master Naturalist title, your chapter name, and your program or chapter membership should never be used in connection with advocacy or to invoke policy. The TMN title and certification should never be used for personal gain or profit. And remember that the Master Naturalist logo and title are trademarks. And as Hannah mentioned earlier in the presentation, that you must seek state office approval when adding them to chapter t-shirts, merchandise, flyers, and anything else, because they are trademarks of the program. And then public comment, if you choose to make public comment on any state, local, or governmental items, you should do so as a private citizen. You should never do so as a Texas Master Naturalist. And your Master Naturalist title should never be associated with your public comments. And we can drop the guidelines in the chat. Hannah, if you can help with that.
We did.
Already in there.
Okay. Now we get to the annual meeting chunk of slides. A lot of these you guys have seen already. Some of these are updates. I've tried to pull the updates out into little call-out boxes so that we can make sure to highlight those in our conversation today. So the "We Are Here" mark on our timeline is we are closing in on early registration ending. So we have a registration price increase that will go into effect September 1. If you have members who are still on the fence about attending the annual meeting, now is the time to get them registered before that price increase. This is a great way to encourage them to maintain their membership in the program, meet other Master Naturalists, get all their advanced training hours in one weekend, and really engage with the program for that long-term Master Naturalist career. You see some timelines and deadlines here as well. I have a screen at the very end of our annual meeting segment here that has all of the deadlines that I'm going to talk about today, because I know that we're going to talk about a couple of different timelines here. So you can either screenshot this page or you can screenshot that very last one that I will keep up at the very end. So since the last time we talked, we launched registration. And this is what I felt like Hannah and I and Michelle excuse me, all looked like on August 1st. And then again, even on August 2nd. We had the most registration we've ever had in the first day, in the first week, and in the first month. We hit all three of those records, and the month is going to end here in the next couple of days, but we have hit all three of those records already. We had 160 people register within the first hour, and then the website broke, and then we fixed it, and then we had 391 registered by the end of the first day after we got everything back to working. And we have over 550 registered to date. This is really exciting. It's also causing a lot of changes on the back end, making sure that we've got enough space, enough resources, and that we are set up for a large crowd of master naturalists joining us. So yes, this is great. We broke the internet, and we thank you for your patience. We thank you for your members, understanding that there are things sometimes that are outside of our control when you have 160 people register in the first hour on a system that we're working with. So thank you all. As we move into annual meeting season, some of the most commonly asked questions are, where is this session at? Who's speaking at this session? What are the classes that are still available? The best resource is the kitchen sink of our website. And the first link that I always go to when I go to our website to find information is I go to our agenda. And we actually diversified the way that we have our agenda on the website this year. We have 3 different formats. We have the long form, which is printable. That's the middle one. It's a PDF. It's 60 plus pages. You can print it. You can highlight it to your heart's desire if that's the type of agenda that you need to have. We also have a snapshot matrix agenda, the one on the right there that has kind of a time block, and you can see, okay, I'd rather go to this versus this, and you can break it out into a time block type of matrix agenda. But the most updated agenda, when we have minor changes, we have speaker updates, we might switch a classroom from room to room, will be our online website-based agenda. That is the one here on the left. It's linked at the beginning of that page. And that is the live agenda that will be rolling through the conference, will be migrated into the app that we'll be using as well. And Hannah and Michelle, I'm sure there's questions, and I'm going to stop it in a few slides to answer those questions as they start to build up. So a few updates here. So there's not an update in the time or the slot or the intention for that chapter leadership luncheon. But if you have not registered for that specific item on the agenda to attend as a chapter president or as an advisor, and you intend on attending it, I need you to go back and modify your registration and make sure that you selected it. We use the registration for that item for a meal count. We are offering meals for chapter presidents and chapter advisors on that Thursday at lunch. If you register for that session, you need to make sure that you've added that to your agenda, your registration. And please reach out to me if you have any issues doing that. Some more highlights on our agenda. We have 7 pre-event field sessions that start as early as Wednesday morning, 16 pre-event on Thursday, and then we have field sessions on Friday and Saturday. We have classroom sessions start Friday morning first thing, and so we have classroom sessions all day Friday and all day Saturday in 14 different rooms. So the choices are going to be difficult this year on where do you want to go. We kick off Thursday with a welcome dinner at the Meadows Center. I have another slide on that. I'll talk about that in a second. But registration opens at 4 o'clock on Thursday. We updated that. Hannah, it's at 2 o'clock, isn't it? Registration opens at 2 o'clock. I'm sorry. I will make sure that I update that on the slides for the future. Registration opens at 2 o'clock on Thursday. And then Saturday is our quiz bowl and our awards dinner. And then our contest awards at lunch on Sunday is the closing ceremony for the conference. Some agenda highlights. We have our Friends of TMN Tuesday, our Friends of TMN developing a support organization for the Master Naturalist program. They'll have a opportunity to present the update, to share some information, share some ways to get involved with this organization as it forms, and that'll be Thursday at 2. I share this specific session because it is a pre-event classroom-based session. And then some more about the Meadow Center. As I mentioned, we will be having buses moving back and forth to the Meadow Center. There is parking at the Meadows, but it is extremely limited. So we'll have the shuttle buses moving back and forth continuously, starting at 4 o'clock on Thursday, and then departing starting at 9 o'clock, continuously moving back and forth. There will be more information that'll be emailed out to all registrants about the Meadow Center, what to bring, what to wear, what to anticipate. But we will have a meal. We'll have an opportunity for folks to go on the glass bottom boat tours, to walk around. I saw Sam is on the call. Sam's going to bring his mossing gear. And so we'll be able to do all kinds of naturalist fun stuff at the Meadow Center Thursday evening as a way to welcome everybody to the conference. I'm going to go 2 more slides, Hannah, and then I'm going to pause for some questions. So field sessions are rolling. Most of them are full at this time. There is a wait list for all field sessions, and those field session wait lists are starting to churn just a little bit as we're able to increase capacities for some of our field sessions. Some of them have hard, strict capacity limits. You certainly don't want 60 master naturalists on a bird walk. You're not going to see any birds. And so there's some that I'm starting to add more space to, and some that are they're stuck at the original capacity limit. As a note, if you are registered for our field sessions, transportation is not provided, but we will be once again setting up a Slack channel for all field sessions so that folks can connect and find ride-sharing carpool opportunities. And then those emails to those Slack channels, I usually don't send those out until mid-September. I'll probably get those out a little earlier this year as almost all of our field sessions are full with it. So some frequently asked questions that you are probably hearing from your members is how do waitlist work? So once you've added your name to a waitlist, it goes in order in which you've been added to that waitlist. If a spot becomes available, either due to somebody canceling or me being able to add more spots to a session, I will that system will automatically email you and say a waitlist spot is open. Please click this link to modify your agenda and join to this session. You'll have to go through that process. And then the second biggest question that I've been getting is, will more spots open? And we don't know. As I mentioned, some of our field sessions have strict limitations to capacity. Others are allowing us to open those up a little bit more. So as I'm doing that, that's when you may see some of that churn. And if there's not on your specific field session, it may be because there's an intentional cap to the attendees. Okay, and then I'm going to stop here because I think I saw some chat questions on this one. Our room block at the Embassy Suites as of last week was officially full. We have a number of hotels that are nearby, up and down 35, that are easy to locate on your best search bar, Google Drive or Google Bar, and find those hotels that are nearby. So Hannah, did that answer one of those questions? Yeah.
A couple questions. If you can go back to the previous slide to this. And who's ever logged in as Region 6 today, yes, dinner is provided at the Meadow Center.
Yeah.
Where you have field sessions being added and that it'll be announced on social. So with the first course of action is if more added, people would be from the wait list might be notified first, or how would the socials work versus?
Yeah, so if we duplicate, If we duplicate a session, we will notify those folks that are on the wait list for the original session first. Give them a few weeks to sign in and join that duplicate session, and then announce it on social. If a brand new field session matriculates out of the energy that we're creating in San Marcos, we will announce that to social immediately, because that's a brand new for everybody. So I do want to give a little bit of deference to the waitlist folks for duplicate sessions, but a brand new one that's a totally different topic, that'll go out to the whole list of registrants and social.
Yep. And don't give up on the wait list. So if you're a person on a wait list, don't give up on that. There typically tends to be lots of some movement as we get closer to the annual meeting, and things happen.
Yeah, people
suddenly can't make it
come in as early.
like things move.
Yeah. Okay. Was there
all other questions that have come in the chat have been covered either as you've been talking or by Michelle and I answering them. So I think we're good to keep going.
Okay. I think I've only got a few more slides for annual meeting. Registration, I mentioned this at the beginning. Our registration prices will increase by $50 starting on September 1. So if you have a few folks that are still on the fence about attending, please encourage them to register before September 1 to save them that extra $50. Silent auction, we've sent out a few notices about this, but our Hays County chapter is hard at work collecting items from chapters, from nearby partner organizations, or from around the area to build out a really great silent auction. Please also consider bringing a few items on your own. I've got a few that I've been stashing in the corner of my office over the last several months of things that I find as I'm out and about. And so if you've got something that you think other master naturalists might geek out about just as much as you, please consider donating it for the silent auction. If you have identified that already, you can turn in a bid sheet early. These are linked on our website, and Hannah can drop that link in the chat. If you do that by the 20th, the week before, you will be eligible for you'll be entered into a raffle for a $100 silent auction shopping voucher. This is a way that this chapter is trying to encourage early bid sheet turn-in, so that they have an idea of what items to anticipate people are bringing to the conference and can space plan a little bit. So help them out, let them know what you're bringing, let them know what you anticipate having in your car on the way there. And then swap shop. We've done this the last couple of years, but Michelle and I always seem to accumulate extra stuff in our offices, or stuff that we have donated to us from other partner organizations. And so we will have a swap shop table again this year. If you or your chapter has accumulated master naturalist type gear or resources, educational pamphlets, educational materials that you aren't using or you don't have space for in your storage unit, please consider bringing those for the swap shop. We'll have that extra table again this year for folks to peruse if they want to. And yes, Wanda, that's sometimes what it feels like in the Master Naturalist closet in our office storage unit. And then contests and awards, none of this has changed, so I'm going to go fast here, but all four of our contests and awards share the same deadline, September 15th. And that is coming up in a few weeks, and it will have passed by the next time we talk on our next chapter presidents and advisors meeting. Please, please, please consider nominating your chapter advisor, entering into the project fair, entering a video into the video contest as a chapter, or individually entering into the photo art and media contest. Our advisor award is a way to recognize those individuals or team of advisors that support you throughout the year, recognize their efforts that go above and beyond their regular day job with either of the agencies, and a way that they support the Master Naturalist work that you do in the community. Michelle, if you want to give a promotion for the project fair. you do it better than I do.
Um, so yeah, Project Fair again, September 15th is our deadline, as with all of our other contests this year. We are seeking your chapter's featured projects, highlighted projects. And you would, just to enter the contest, you would enter a paragraph telling us about what that project is. And then as part of the October 8th TMN Tuesday, you would give a presentation about that project. So like we mentioned earlier, there have been no submissions for the project fair yet. And these are for cash awards. So for each of the winners for most of these contests will receive project awards to continue a project or start a new one at their local chapter level.
And then our video contest, same deadline, and really a great opportunity to maybe take a video of some of the project work that you're doing and combine that into a 1 to 3 minute video that highlights what your chapter has been working on over the last year, and share it through social media, share it on your website, and share it with the state through the video contest project. Video contest. And then last but not least in our lineup of 4 contests and awards is our photo art and media contest. Our Hays County chapter is working hard, and a couple of other chapters are working together to help coordinate this year. We have 162 entries as of 8 a.m. this morning. So please consider submitting your bird, your plant, your fungi that you are interested in, that you've taken a great photo of over the last year. Sponsorship, thank you to all of the Master Naturalist chapters who have offered sponsorship this year for the conference. This helps us to provide additional support during the annual meeting, have those extra events alongside the conference, and helps us to provide a more wholesome conference for everybody, and provide that support for the event. Sponsorships are available at a series of levels, and if you're interested, Hannah has just dropped that link in the chat about our sponsorship. And then this is out of order just a little bit, but this is the deadline screen that I promised y'all. I should have moved it down further. I apologize. But if you want to take a screenshot of this, this is all the deadlines that we've talked about so far for the annual meeting.
We'll have another version of this at the end also.
Oh, okay. Okay. This is the slide I was anticipating. The vendors, we are going to run out of space for our vendors here soon. Last count, we had 19 vendors, which is amazing. So it's going to be a really full conference and a really full vendor hallway and room. So if you've got one more vendor in mind that you're thinking of that needs to join us, please let us know, and please encourage them to send in some vendor information here shortly. Our curriculum bulk orders, this information has been sent out the order form to all chapter presidents last week, and that is available on our website as well. Please make sure that you designate on that form who is picking up those books so that the A&M Press staff at the conference knows who to make sure that they've reached out to pick those books up. And then also make sure that you've got enough room in your vehicle for picking up those books. Pop-up store. We are working on a pop-up store. I was hoping to have more definitive pictures for you. This is a little bit of a rework from last year's pop-up store, but we're close. I was hoping to have the link today. It might not be until tomorrow, but as soon as I have that pop-up store link, I'll share it out to the listserv, and it will close on September 14th. And that is a hard deadline in order to make sure that all of these items are put into production and shipped to your homes before you decide to get on the road for the annual meeting. So we'll have soft shell jackets, t-shirts, polos, the annual meeting shirt, and a few others that are still in the works. So more to come. And I think that's my last annual meeting, and then it's a few things that you've got updates for the annual meeting, right?
Yep. One of the things we always do at the annual meeting is recognize our members who have reached different milestones since the annual meeting last year. And this is my request to your chapters and your VMS administrators to go in and if you can over the next couple of months, keep your milestones updated as much and as frequently as possible, because we will be pulling the information from VMS to add to your name tags and have your name listed on the awards program for the annual meeting. And again, this is a reminder that only attendees, so we will be recognizing attendees at the annual meeting who have reached different milestones over the past year. We'll be doing 2 polls in VMS for registrants. So August 31st, we'll begin the deep dive on everyone that's registered thus far through early registration and start pulling some information and getting it ready for your name tags and the awards banquet and everything. And then we'll do a final check September 29th once registration closes and get all that stuff updated for, we have posters, we have a program, we have our awards presentation. So it takes some time to get all that and all of the names and awards incorporated into that. So we do have a hard deadline to have that information updated by the beginning of the month for the annual meeting, beginning of October, so that we can get everything in. If there are some volunteers who happen to reach a certain milestone between October 4th and the annual meeting, email me and we will try to get them added to the awards presentation, but we can only do that through the presentation portion for that evening. And again, that's for people who are registered participants of the annual meeting. Okay, next one. Okay, someone asked, I think Dan asked earlier about if you still need photos from your chapters, and yes, we do. This is actually the first real plug for our annual meeting chapter photo show. This is typically the presentation that Donna Cole puts together. We have a deadline of September 29th for this or sooner. Thank you to the chapter. I think there's been a chapter or a couple of chapters who have sent some already. But we would love to incorporate all of our chapters into the annual meeting and photos from their events over the past year. Some of the things we're looking for is we really want to see your chapter members at work in the outdoors, working on projects, or if your chapter has celebrated a big milestone this past year, include those pictures as well. We are asking for a total of 10, no more than 10. As you can imagine, with almost 50 chapters, times 10, that's a lot of photos. So if your chapter as the president, or if you want to delegate this to your chapter historians, we really need the photos, 10 photos from your chapters. And I'll be sending out an email with this information to copying the presidents and chapter historians. But if you can include the actual photo, a JPEG file at full resolution, and it's easiest if you can include those as in a Google folder or on a Google Drive. It makes the entry of the photos pretty seamless into the presentation. So be looking for more information as when we wrap up this meeting, I'll send that out. Okay. And then the other thing we usually request around the annual meeting time is any chapter memorials. So this is something that goes into the photo show also. If you have special members that have maybe passed away over the course of the year, we would love to honor them through a memorial and include a photo of them. If you will send that to Donna Cole and myself, We're asking for the person's name, the chapter they belong to, and one photo of them. And again, that's by September 29th.
Oh, I've got one more slide for annual meeting. Our Slack communication, this is out of order again, I apologize all. This is if you are registered, you should be on our Slack channel. The QR code is here, and I'll be sending that out to all registrants again so that they have access to the Slack channel to have continued communication about transportation, lodging, field sessions, etc. All right. Moving into chapter resources. As always, the main chapter resource for you as chapter leaders, and then for any of your chapter members is our website. This is our kitchen sink. Hannah and I and Michelle work hard to make sure that this is the most updated resources. This is the most up-to-date resource with links, videos, event calendar, blog information, annual meeting agenda. All of the answers are here before you ask the question. So please make sure that you're checking out our website first. Some highlight links is our listserv. Hannah's done a great job of adding some of those to the front page. The listserv is a way for your members to get that first run of information from the state office. Please make sure that you are sharing that email listserv with them, especially as those new members are starting to join your chapter this fall. And then some other hot links on the website that folks go to often is our VMS help desk and our chapter documents page. Some other upcoming website-related news, our WordPress website trainings are continuing this fall, the first Tuesday of the month at noon. This happens to be next week, next Tuesday, September 3rd, at 12 noon. Will be hosted via Teams, and I'll be making sure that your website webmasters and chapter leaders, chapter presidents have a link to this WordPress website training event. All right, and then Michelle, you've got some VMS slides before we close out for today.
It's become a regular feature at our president's meetings now, our VMS updates. So over the summer, June, July, and August, not a whole lot has changed on the back end of the system. We had the updated, again, back in May, the list of TMN certification status fields was updated. Over the summer, early summer, you may have seen admins can no longer add or delete. There's no longer an add or delete button. Samaritan added an auto logout that shortened that from 30 minutes to 15 minutes after no activity. TMN rules more recently here have all been created and readied for the move and consolidation. So that part is done. Some things you may have seen if you're a VMS administrator at your local level, there is an SSO that's been prepped. It's not functioning yet. So if you see it when you first go to log in, you don't need to select that item yet to log in via SSO. We will let you know when and if that becomes available, but there's nothing you need to do with that right now. In fact, if you do follow it, it doesn't work. It's broken. So more information to come on that when we know more. Other things that have taken place over the summer, the past few months, we have put a moratorium on VMS trainings until further notice of the new VMS. Obviously, things are going to change a little bit. And so we also lost one of our trainers at the VMS help desk site. So it was just fitting to put a moratorium on training for right now until things do change and get updated. And then if you are a chapter that happens to, for whatever reason, in an emergency, lose your chapter admin, VMS admin, and you need someone trained immediately, just reach out to the help desk. We expect that case to be very, very few and far between if it happens at all. And we can get a new person set up to help with administering your local VMS. As far as the members side of thing, or as a member reporting time, Nothing has changed on that end of the system. So proceed as normal with entering hours. And if you go to the next slide, what's next? So the step what we're waiting for next is the move and consolidation. So the master naturalist side of things is packing, moving, and moving in with the Texas Parks and Wildlife main account. One of the big things that we'll see that's different with this move is we won't have folders anymore. But for the local chapter admin level, that's not a big change. Chapters will use grids and filters to organize their info versus information in folders. We have not been given, this is hard stuff, we have not been given a date as to when this all would happen. When it does, we will give as much notice as we are given at the VMS administration team level. And then information and training will be provided as soon as we have it. After the move and consolidation, things that come in after that is we are anticipating an application entry process into the system. But we're anticipating it being similar, the same as it is now. We will have what's called an onboarding process developed. And what I know about this now is that we will have some different training modules and things like our standards of conduct and code of ethics that would be signed online. So those are things that would be used as onboarding for master naturalist volunteers. There will be some kind of training on what it means to be a Texas Parks and Wildlife and Texas AgriLife Extension volunteer, because as master naturalists, you are volunteers of both of those agencies. So there will be some information and prep and training about that, some modules to go through. Part of the system is they'll be developing what's called our organization module. So within the system, different programs within Parks and Wildlife will be kind of separated out or organized by organizations. So Master Naturalist would obviously be an organization in that org model, as well as other programs within the agency. We will have prerequisites, and so that's the best way I can explain that is there will be some if-then movements through onboarding. So if you meet this certain criteria, then some additional training may pop up. So like as a treasurer within your chapter, if you are a treasurer within your chapter, then you might see a little informational session pop up about being a treasurer, being a good treasurer for your chapter in the system. And then the last thing that we know to be implemented into the system is there will be multi-factor authentication for any of our chapter admins using the system. That is the last item that will be built into and implemented into the system. Again, I don't have dates on when any of this will take place. Trust me, it is blowing my mind that we don't have that yet. And I have this big fear that it'll happen
October.
During the annual meeting, after the annual meeting, like, I don't know. I hope not, but we'll see.
Michelle,
Next slide.
There is one question in chat. Beverly asked, may we update or clean our VMS opportunities as usual, or do we need to wait until consolidation?
So Beverly, let's talk about that after the meeting. We've been through this process over the summer where we've been working with chapters to clean that up with you in anticipation of this. And so I'm a little concerned that you would be going through and cleaning up things now when we've been working on that all summer. So let's talk after the meeting about that question and see what else you have that you need to get updated. Other reminders. So opportunities. So some things that are going to change with the system when it does change. Opportunity signups for chapters will be moving to an opt-in versus an opt-out process that it is now. So members would shop what you have available in your chapter versus and signing up for that versus everyone being everything being applied to everyone within your chapter and then that person opting out. Um, the system is just another reminder. I've been going through these reminders each month. The system is not a complete system rebuild or overhaul. We are getting its basic, the basic system will look and feel close to what we have now, but we are getting new features and advances that Samaritan has built over the last 10 years. So our system was built in a version of the system where these new features couldn't be applied to it before. And now we're getting an update so that those new features can be applied now. Our VNS team has been involved in weekly meetings. Typically those happen about 2 times per week. Our VMS team has been and will be involved in providing input to the rebuild and development. We've been working with the company all along. We will have training sessions for volunteer VMS administrators when the administrative portion changes. And then we will also have training sessions for members when the time comes. And then lastly, for existing members, the basic volunteer reporting experience, we don't anticipate that being too different from what it is now. So for the end user, our volunteer end user entering time, we don't expect a big change for them. For our VMS admins, that's where we're expecting more change. So for your VMS admins, just be watching for emails and newsletters that come from the team. And we have a quarterly newsletter that will be going out in September. So I've been going through another quarterly report for our grant that supports the program. And one of the things that I talked with your chapters about in the last meeting was if you request to you as chapter leaders, if you could help improve our TMN reporting. My request was to, and continues to be today, if you could help guide members in reporting to the correct opportunity, project category, and service description through any of the meetings that you offer. Either chapter meetings, advanced training, and service projects. If that's something that you can kind of include in your kickoff and orientation to the day or to the meeting, that would be helpful. So example for here today, for your time here today as presidents attending the meeting, you'd report to the opportunity of chapter business. The project category would be chapter and program business administration, president's duties, and then the service description would be August presidents and advisors meeting with the state office.
Great. Michelle, there's one question, maybe 2 questions for you. One from Bob is, are read-only admins copied on the meetings?
On the meetings. Read only, so when there are meetings for VMS administrators, they will be, yes.
Okay. And then Mary Beth asked about the committee comment box, and maybe I'm using the wrong term to describe it, but when adding the name for a webmaster to a person's role on VMS, what is the box that they need to put webmaster in? Because it's not under it's not under the drop down.
Right. I think there's a other. Let me look at that though.
Okay.
I can't remember for sure. I think you would go into that user defined tab and there is a other.
Okay.
With a write-in there.
Okay. We'll make sure that we get that information. Okay, wrapping up this meeting because we are at the 101 mark. You guys have seen this, our AgriLife Learn store. We do have new items. We just updated this with a whole bunch of hats and visors as well, because those went out of stock over the summer. Go figure, Master Naturalist outside wanting some sunshade. Our license plate is still moving throughout the state. I saw one on the road up in Fort Worth last Friday. I did not try to trace it down. It was going a little faster than I was, but that's okay. But it's fun to get to see these out and about on the roads. Please check out your license plate, the opportunity to purchase a Master Naturalist personalized license plate, and get to see those out and about on the road. Maybe it was Sam. It wasn't Sam. It was in Fort Worth. Somebody up there. And then our Master Naturalist Endowment is still going. And I hope to have an update on the endowment at the annual meeting this year. Last but not least, end of the year succession planning. Please know, as you're starting to think about the next couple of months, the fall seems to happen in a blink of an eye. Please start thinking about your chapter nominations and elections processes as those are coming up in the next couple of months. If you have an incoming chapter president that's already been identified, if known, and wants to attend the annual meeting's chapter leadership lunch, they are welcome as long as they've gone back into their agenda and modified that to attend that meeting, so that we know so we have them down for a head count for the luncheon. And then again, as Michelle mentioned, as we were talking about planning out your next several months, if you have your new leaders identified, planning out your new year board retreats, sharing that information with us so that we can add it to our state calendars, so that we have reference if somebody asks about those. And then in December, don't forget to enter your new leadership in VMS in that director's list. And then Michelle, will you explain the move to history, leadership service and history?
Yeah. So actually, there was someone that was asking about Webmaster, and
I see it.
this
I'll answer it.
slide with the Gary Poole example shows where you can add it. It says committee member, and that's where you would add Webmaster or web person. It's not an officer or director in the list above, but we can still pull committee lead and member or webmaster title from committee member if you add that in that TMN in this UDF. So this picture is showing that UDF where it says committee member of, put webmaster there. And then in December, so at the end of December, January is when all of our new officers take place, or kind of take office. And so at the end of December, VMS admins can help with updating the leadership history and service history. And so you can see that, I'm going to say this is how it looks today in the system. The leadership and service history, you could move, let's say if a person is moving to past president, you could put in that leadership service history that they were president and the dates or the years. And then each individual, you'll need to go into each individual who's taking on a new office and set up your 2025 president, secretary, all the officers, and then directors individually in this same manner for 2025. And then the history for anybody from 2024 would be filled in through that little bottom box there. Thank you. The leadership service history.
Perfect. Okay. This really is our last slide. This slide has all of our dates on it for the coming weeks. I'm checking the background. I don't think we have any other questions and on the next slide, but this is the reminder calendar check. We have registration, early registration pricing is going to change overnight between August 31st and September 1st. In 2 weeks, we have the TMN Tuesday event, Spanish for Naturalists. Then shortly thereafter, we have the contest entries are due. That is photo and art, advisor, video, and project fair. And then we have our president's meeting on September 24th with our chapter memorial and photo show, milestone hours, all of that happening on September 29th. Our final registration closes, and that should be 29th. Registration does close on the 29th. I saw that as a question earlier. We might have gotten that backwards in one spot, but that should be the 29th. Exemplary Project Fair TMN Tuesday is October 8th. Our curriculum order deadline is October 12th. And then we get into annual meeting season with our next president's meeting in October being at the conference at lunch on the 24th. And then TMN Tuesdays and joint president's meetings after that.
And I don't know if we mentioned, so presidents, if you know your new presidents who may be your new presidents coming in 2025 in October, if you know that in October, those people are invited to attend the president's meeting at the annual meeting as well. We just need them to mark that they would be attending on their registration so that we have enough food ready for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to keep leaving this screen up here for a little bit, but I think we are done and can answer any final questions if there's final questions after the 1 o'clock mark. And thank you guys. I know that this feels like a lot of chaos and a lot in a lot of different directions and timelines. We just want to make sure that you guys have all of these answers before you get questions from your membership. And if y'all don't have any questions, you are free to get back to your day. Thank you so very much. Really appreciate it.
Michelle, do you want to call me or do I need to call you? This is Beverly. Richard.
I'll call you, Beverly.
All righty. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you both. And
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Michelle, I'm going to stop the recording and I'll get this on the